Ukraine's President Zelensky warned today that Russian forces appear to be regrouping for an assault aimed at seizing control of the east of the country. Britain's Ministry of Defence says several attacks have been beaten back in Ukraine's eastern Donbass area, but the Russian shelling has continued in both the Luhansk and Donetsk regions. The key port of Mariupol, which has already been heavily shelled, is also said to be bracing itself for a huge new assault. Peter Smith reports from Kyiv.
This is Mariupol's last stand. Ukraine's Azov battalion released this footage today, but after 6 weeks under siege, the defenders of this city admit they are now out of ammunition, they are surrounded, and in 24 hours they expect Mariupol will at last fall into Russian control. Anatoly is one of the soldiers still resisting. We can't show his face, but we spoke to his mother, and she says Ukraine's soldiers have been let down.
There aren't enough words to describe how great they are, and they abandoned them. 47 days. 47 days they are holding out with no food, no water, and now, how are they supposed to fight? With their bare hands, how?
Ukraine's president says tens of thousands have already died in Mariupol, and addressing his nation, he warned people to prepare. A new Russian assault is on its way.
Russian troops will move to even larger operations in the east of our state. They can even use more missiles against us, even more aerial bombs, but we are preparing for all their actions. We will respond. We will be even more active in providing Ukraine with weapons.
If Mariupol does fall, it would be the largest Ukrainian city to be captured since the invasion began. As war in the east intensifies, the Kremlin has sent a message to Kyiv today saying they are still open to peace talks, but they will not stop their next assault on Ukraine for any negotiations. Offering negotiation while increasing the attack is more akin to terms of surrender, but Russia's foreign minister is not backing down.
During the first round of talks, President Putin ordered a ceasefire. But when we were convinced the Ukrainians were not going to do the same, it was decided there would be no break for future negotiations until a final agreement is signed.
After constant bombardment, the port city of Mariupol has been reduced to ruins. Russia says this is liberation. Ukraine calls it annihilation. And phase 2 of this war is just about to begin. Peter Smith, ITV News in Ukraine.
In Moscow, Austria's Chancellor Karl Nehammer arrived today for the first meeting with Vladimir Putin by a Western leader since Russia launched its invasion. And our political correspondent Carl Dinnan is at Parliament now. Carl, what was said there? What happened at the meeting?
Well, Mr. Nehammer wasn't coming here to make friends. He said quite pointedly afterwards that this was not a friendly meeting, but he was trying to influence Vladimir Putin. He said he had pressed him directly in their meeting of about an hour and a quarter to bring in an immediate ceasefire and to open humanitarian corridors, although the Russians said that they also expected the subject of gas supplies to be part of the discussions here. The Austrians are in a slightly different position to many other Western nations in that they are not members of NATO. But that said, neither are they neutral on the subject of Ukraine. In fact, Mr. Nehammer visited Bucha in Ukraine over the weekend before coming here, where he said he had seen with his own eyes what he called the immeasurable suffering caused by Russia's actions. I think also he wanted to make sure that President Putin had a clear view of what was happening. The West haven't always believed President Putin's advisors have given him that. And also there's a desire to make sure there is a diplomatic channel open should the Russian president want to climb down it, down from his actions, although as yet no sign that he does.
And finally, passion for woodwork is not, let's face it, the kind of thing that normally makes someone an internet star. But that's exactly what 12-year-old Gabriel Clark has done, gathering more than 250,000 social media follows and raising tens of thousands of pounds for Ukraine in the process. Yasmin Bodelbai went to meet him.
This bowl is worth £80,000 and counting. And this is the boy who made it. Gabriel carved his latest creation after seeing what was happening in Ukraine.
Seeing the news and seeing the pictures, it really unsettles me, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to try and help out.
So you're using your amazing skills to help people all the way over in Ukraine?
Yeah, well, I'm trying my best to do that. I just put my paintbrush in and let it go around.
Gabriel used to be followed by 6 people on Instagram. Within 48 hours, that soared. Now almost 250,000 followers have seen his bowl with Ukrainian colours, and many have entered a raffle to win it.
Gabriel doesn't lie in, and our bedroom is over his workshop, so very often we'll wake up to the kind of rumbling sound. There's a lot of sawdust around that goes upstairs, little trail of sawdust.
But any noise and mess is worth it.
Since the conflict escalated there 6 weeks ago, about 2 million children have had to flee the violence in Ukraine already. The money that Gabriel's raised will allow us to reach more children.
Gabriel has 20,000 orders for bowls, enough to keep him busy for the next 30 years. But for now, all his attention is on this one. Yasmin Bottleby, ITV News, Lancashire.
That's a great story, isn't it? Well done, Gabriel.